And if you look at therapy, the whole field of therapy, not the whole field, but vital new movements which look at therapy not as trying to get at what's wrong with a person and curing them, but looking at what's wrong as a construction in itself and asking whether we can't reconstruct. If a person is living a life which they feel a failure and are depressed they feel because of that failure, is that a good story? Is it possible we could have another narrative that you could generate about that life, which would be more uplifting, in which that person wouldn't feel if they were a failure? So therapy becomes then a matter of reconstruction. Take organizations, organizational work, organizational transformation. Whole new theories of the organization. Organizations as, let's say, conversation, and what that means. Practices of change, trying to bring people together in an organization, trying to trade stories about what it is they really like about this organization, and using those to spring into the creation of the organization of the future. That is, using the positive core of the organization and saying, what could we create out of that? And new forms of organization spring to life. In work on dialogue, and particularly conflict reduction, whole new ideas about how it is that we could talk across realities. Emphasis on, again, on stories. If I can tell you a story about the pain or suffering that I've experienced in my particular group as a result of something you've done, you can listen to that story in a way in which you can't listen to the diatribe and critique that I might otherwise direct in your place in your direction. So whole new challenges about forms of dialogue which we might bring into play. How do we create them? How would they work? And so on. So in effect, there's a way in which Constructivism is an honoring of all traditions, allowing them a voice at the table, bringing them into dialogue, and out of that the hope that somehow together, we could create whole new ways of life, whole new realities and possibilities, which will allow us to sustain and enrich life for all people.